Hey everybody, thanks for listening to On the Podcast, a short episode format podcast that you can listen to or watch while you're doing your business on the pod. Or maybe it's that weird season when your yard is dead.
Dead. Just dead.
Just dead.
Brown.
Dead and brown. And you have animals, you have yourself, you have all sorts of things. You go out into that dead yard and you bring it inside.
Oh yeah. Just little pieces of grass everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. You gotta clean it up. You gotta get it off your chairs. You gotta get it off the ground. You gotta get it out of your rug. You gotta get it off yourself. You gotta get it off your animals.
Weaved into your sweaters.
Weaved into your sweaters. It's gonna take some time. Put on an episode of our podcast and learn a little while you winter clean.
Yuck.
Ugh, bring on the green grass.
Yeah.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Katie. Hey Liz.
Hey Katie.
What are we talking about today?
Katie, we are talking about something that I was reminded of and completely forgot about, and I apologize because this is an interesting topic. But I was told about this when I was in San Antonio in August.
Okay. A little bit ago.
Yeah, a while ago. And these are the Apple Snails. Also known as Pomacia.
Okay. For our scientific listeners out there.
And for our scientific listeners out there, you're going to hate that I mispronounced that. Pomacia. I don't know. So these little snails, they are native to South America. They are unique in the fact that the way that they breathe is they have both gills and lungs.
Interesting. Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they use one, sometimes the other, or do they use everything all at once?
They use one sometimes and the other.
Okay.
So, because of their breathing, they can hunt both on land and in water. They spend most of their time in the water,
that
but
makes sense.
they can kind of cruise around. They are typically in tropical regions that experience periods of high rainfall as well as drought, which has led to some adaptations like the ability to seal their shell entrance to avoid drying out while burying themselves in the mud during those dry periods.
And then they stay alive?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Isn't that
Are
crazy?
these little guys?
We'll get there. Now, what they do, too, is they often lay their eggs just above the waterline to protect the eggs against, water predators like fish and whatever.
Yeah.
So, with their lungs, they've got this, thing that shoots out of them to where they can, siphon air, oxygen.
Like a hose.
Yeah. And this allows them to hide underwater from their predators.
Snorkel, that's the word.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
An underwater hose.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's fun.
Yeah, so they can avoid that, and their predators are the limpkin and the snail kite, and those are both birds that happen to exist, and these birds are cool. We'll have to do a whole episode on these birds. They live in the wetlands and tropical areas of Florida to Central South America. And those are their only predators.
But these snails are in the United States.
We'll get there. They typically live in ponds, swamps, and rivers. Now, they are known to be pests. Okay?
Yeah.
And so the first occurrence of this was in the 1980s. They were introduced to Taiwan as a great source of protein in the escargot industry.
Yum.
Have you had escargot?
Yeah. I can only tolerate it when it's drowning in garlic butter.
Oh. I love escargot.
It's the texture thing. Real chewy.
Doesn't
really have a taste besides garlic butter.
I love it. Now, the problem is they did not become a culinary success out in Taiwan. And here's the other factor here is they often carry a parasite that can be transferred to human beings if they're not cooked fully.
Oh, no.
Yep, so maybe don't eat Apple Snails in Taiwan. Now, because it didn't work out, the snails ended up escaping, and that threatened the rice production and other native
yikes.
ecosystem of Taiwan.
Because they were like eating
plants?
plants?
They kind of eat like a lot of plants.
Yeah.
Because they can, because they're weird land sea snails. And they ended up spreading to Indonesia, Cambodia, Hong Kong, China, Japan, Thailand, and the Philippines.
I always think this is crazy. Like, clearly the snails were brought somewhere, but then they they just end up on boxes and crates and ships and trains and boats, and they get to other places.
Well, you get into a waterway, like these snails, so these snails can float. So if they hop into like a river, they can just float on down wherever. Yeah. So if there's like a water system, they'll just kind of cruise along. And the eggs that they lay, it's like these big egg sacs, and there's tons of eggs in them.
Yeah.
So, they help their population thrive. Now, Hawaii also tried to do the escargot thing, and it failed, and it now the taro industry now suffers, and that's that taro root,
Okay.
Yeah.
In Hawaii because of these snails?
Yeah.
Stupid
Now, bear in mind, they are considered a delicacy in some East and Pacific Asian markets.
I'm sure everything's considered a delicacy somewhere.
Yeah. And in Veracruz, Mexico, there is a species that is low fat and has 12 grams of protein.
Per little snail?
Well, it's not a little snail.
Oh, no.
We're about to get into it.
Big snail?
Big snail.
Oh.
So...
I don't want 12 grams of protein snail.
Yeah. So... In October of 2019, they started to appear in the San Antonio Riverwalk. And, they are voracious eaters of aquatic plants. So they're just kind of destroying the like native plants around the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
They're very intrusive. Likely they were either bought at a pet store, because some aquariums sell them. Or they happened to be a stowaway on an aquarium plant, and when whoever realized it was there, they were like, ooh, I don't actually want this thing. I'm going to do the correct thing and dump it in the water. Not realizing what it is and how destructive it is.
I don't think that's the correct... Well, I don't know what the correct thing to do
well,
is
like
with
here,
a random
like
snail.
We used to, like, when animals would get stuck in our window well.
Yeah.
Mice, whatever.
Yeah.
We would take it down to your neighborhood, actually. We wouldn't put it back in the creek behind our house, because then it would come back. So we'd drive to your neighborhood, and we'd release it out there.
Then it would come into my house.
Exactly. So, like, you give it back to its natural habitat, you think.
Yeah. That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to hear how big this snail is.
Yeah. So these things, like we've already talked about, have adapted so much. They actually survived the deep freeze of 2021 in San Antonio by burrowing into the riverbank. So they just kind of survive everything.
Everything. Nuclear blast.
Yeah.
These are the new cockroaches.
Yeah. So these snails are the size of softballs.
Oh.
They are big snails.
Ooh.
Yep. And what they
big
do is
slimy suckers.
they've got like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're slimy. I mean, they're all I saw was their shell, and shell's kind of hard. But they lay their egg sacs are like huge. They're like,
mango
big,
sized.
yeah, and they're pink.
Okay.
They're bright pink. So when you walk along the river walk, you see all these like pink splatter along the river walk, because that's where like the eggs used to be.
Okay.
And every now and then you can actually see the snails, and they are fucking huge. But they're also like kind of camouflaged, so they kind of blend into like the cement siding of the river walk. So they're kind of hard to actually like catch and maintain. Now there are river warrior volunteers who remove the snail eggs. And I found out about this from my friend Kyle, who is a river warrior volunteer. And she was like, you see that pink stuff? And then I was like, oh my God. She's telling me all this. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds horrible. And so then I'm like on this river cruise with some people the next day. And a couple of them live local. And I'm like, the snails, right? And they're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm here to do Kyle's job and bring awareness to the apple snails that are invasive to the Riverwalk. Now, I have some good news for you.
Okay.
It appears as though in 2024, around 30,000 eggs were removed from the Riverwalk.
Good news.
Which appears to have been when it peaked.
Oh, okay.
Since 2019. And in 2025...
That bell curve is slowly going back down.
Yeah, yep. And in 2025, there were just under 20,000 eggs that were removed.
Good news.
They're fighting the good fight out there. The biggest thing is that the predators, the snails' only predators, don't live in the United States.
Don't exist.
And they've survived so many weird circumstances that the only way to like really maintain it is to just get rid of the eggs.
Yeah. Huh.
Isn't that
and
crazy?
Let the other ones die off.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but now I can only think about that 12 grams of protein. That thing is like...
Truly, like, I would eat one.
No!
I would eat one. Like,
no. A full one?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds delicious. I'm going to go to Veracruz, Mexico and try one.
The thing that I can relate to out here are zebra mussels.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where those came from, though.
I think also Asia. Yeah. So. But it's the same thing as, like, the Japanese beetles out here. I mean, that's the problem is when you get these species that aren't technically... That, like, they come from an area in which there is a natural predator. And they're not invasive to that space. Mm-hmm. And then they come here and there is no natural predator, and it becomes a problem. Like we spent... so much of our childhood killing Russian thistle out on the farm because it was an invasive species that was brought here from Europe.
Yeah.
And,
And there you go.
and that's just like the way...
have that plant.
Yeah, like there's nothing that kills it. There's nothing that you can do with it. Like,
Just have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Douche
is right.
Snails.
So, the Apple Snail. Head on down to San Antonio. Start grabbing some. Let's turn it into some food.
Oh, God. Hard pass. No.
Yeah.
I could tolerate the little ones.
I'm down. I'm into it. And shout out to Kyle. Thanks, buddy, for showing me about your cause.
Thanks, Kyle.
We love you.
So, what's that inside my body?
Escargot.
Ugh. The little ones.
12 grams of protein.
The little ones.
And a little bit of knowledge.
Okay. See you next time.
Bye.